little light. Give me a second. How's everybody doing? Let me put the stream on the TV so I can see the comments and make sure everything's working. Give me a second here. It's a lot easier for me to see the comments on the TV. I was like, make sure the stream is working. Okay, we got sound, we got the good stuff. Okay, cool. We'll mute that. Alright guys, how's everybody doing? I hope you're enjoying the weekend and this happy Sunday. So it's kind of a last minute stream. Let me give you the update. So Sifu Don agreed to come down. He said that he may be able to come down today. I didn't want to say anything until I got confirmation, but he was able to do that. I think he said the 6th maybe of August, but we'll be doing another live demo specifically for applications and push hands theory. So I'll let you guys know when that pops up and when that happens. So I'm not really sure how that's going to go about, what the date is. But I figured today I would answer anybody's questions, and I'm going to go and brainstorm some of this stuff and also talk about a lot of the theory of how do we get to this place, how do we fix it, and some concepts about how it is that I've been able to get back in shape using just the Tai Chi form. I did kind of an experiment, which I said a couple months ago, that I would only do the form left-handed, or mirrored form, and just using diet and the Tai Chi stuff. But the way that I practice the form, when I'm doing it to get in shape, for fighting, because again, when I say fighting, right, I always looked at Tai Chi as a supplement to my hard style training. Okay, so it's another thing. So I have a very strange outlook on the form. And also a very long time ago, I saw a taiji master. The guy was like 80 or 90. And this dude was moving like he was 20, like Jet Li in the competitions. It was just insane. And there's videos online, you can see it. And then you look at the wushu style Tai Chi people, and although, I'm not saying all of them, okay, because there's a very few who are really good who actually do this stuff. Most of the wushu sport stuff is garbage, right? But the athleticism is over the top. So we have an obvious problem in the yang style communities where they've misinterpreted the classics, and because it's cultural to keep things secret, there is major delusion and misunderstandings and compounded problems, and then there's people who use these problems as an excuse to stay lazy. Okay? So I wanted to go over a couple of things, and we'll see who comes in, who has any questions to ask. And go over that. If you guys are coming in, please like. I can't believe I have to say this to people who watch YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe, okay? You gotta do this, okay? So I'll answer any questions that come up. But let's start off with the whole idea of the form premise and how I actually practice the form in secret. Okay, so how do I get these results where I stay kind of in shape? Now, granted, my diet has a lot to do with it, where I'll do one day a week of intermittent fasting, where I'll either fast for 12 hours or 24 hours, just like a water fast or juice fast. And obviously, the most important thing about not getting out of shape is, first thing is what you're putting in your body. And when I'm training like high-profile clients, all this stuff, I can actually tell you this one. One of my clients is the executive producer of Dr. Oz, okay? And I have his recommendation when I was going for management at the club. And the results that I get with these people are ridiculous, but the first thing I tell all my clients is I get a list of what they're eating, how they're eating it, and I tell my clients, listen, you can eat pizza if you want, all right? But there's a couple of rules, okay? So I'm going to share with you some of these rules first, all right? The first rule is no synthetic sugar, okay? So I don't care what your diet is, carnivore, vegetarian, whatever it is, you've got to avoid synthetic food, okay? And especially high fructose aspartame sucrose. High fructose corn syrup. If you eat corn, what happens when you poop? I've been vegetarian for 23 years, so I can digest corn for the most part, okay? Like, very rarely do I see it, but I haven't eaten meat in so long, my body's adjusted. Even then, it's difficult for me to process corn, okay? When you liquefy corn and then condense it to a concentrate, what do you think happens? I learned this in the late 90s, early 2000s, I figured this out. Because I was training 7 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day. Okay, and hey, what's up, man? How you doing? So I'm there 7 days a week, 3 hours a day, and I started getting this rubbery fat around my abs. I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Okay? I was like, I'm training like an animal. Okay, what is going on? I realized that I was drinking soda. Okay, I was probably like 17, whatever, 18. I'm like, and I was shredded, okay? Like Bruce Lee shredded. And I started getting fat. What the hell going on? And I couldn't get rid of it. So that was my first awakening there. So the first thing I would tell all you guys in the community, because I know nobody cares about that diet. Most of these people don't stress, they don't work out, they don't care. You gotta really think about what you're putting in your body first, okay? So synthetic sugars are no. So high fructose corn syrup is the devil, and I don't touch that stuff. And I encourage you to read the labels of everything you're buying, okay? Because they sneak this into everything, and now on top of it, you have the bio-engineered shit, which is your genetically modified crap to sneak into everything. But I would rather, for a fitness perspective, you'd rather have bio-engineered stuff than high fructose, anything aspartame or sucrose. No diet sodas. You never see skinny people drinking diet soda, okay? So just stay away from that stuff, all right? So that's the most important thing. The next thing will be portioning. So if you're trying to, just keep your weight or lose weight, take 3 fists, put them together, that's the size of your plate. Your stomach should only expand to 3 fists, okay? Anything more than that, things start to happen that aren't good. It's just obvious, okay? So keep things really simple, things like that. So as for the form, there's a couple of things you guys gotta take into consideration. The slow form is great, for health of geriatrics. All right, but if you look at the history of taiji, you go all the way back to Shaolin and Wudang, they don't practice like that. Okay? Nobody that fights practices like that, and nobody that fights can be out of shape. So we have a serious problem in these communities where the silk pajama crew, they've allowed this to happen. Okay, and we have to do something about it because people are getting sick and dying all over the place. Okay, so I know people want me to go into fighting applications, and we're going to do that next couple of weeks. But I think that we have to address the elephants in the room, which is the baseline physical lifestyle choices that people are making, and the fact that the philosophical issues that people don't really have the philosophies and decorum to even. It's like I said, if I can put makeup on a pig. So I can do all this, I can show you all these cool fancy applications, but you know what, at the end of the day, you'll get a couple of tricks and you're not going to practice, you don't have the discipline to practice properly. So it's going to be a lot of problems. So I want to go over as much as I can the next, until that happens, and hopefully, let me just do not disturb on, sorry guys. And make sure you like and share and subscribe if you're watching the stream, because I have to tell everybody in 2023. Alright, so when you're trying to get you have to change your metabolism, right? So steady state exercise, when you do the same thing over and over again, like for instance, the worst thing you can do to lose weight is run for more than 12 minutes. At the 12-minute mark, your body goes into a different gear, right? It goes to the steady state. And basically what it's trying to do is prepare you to do this long, run forever, which is try to keep things efficient and blah, 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 blah. Great. So you'll start to see people who are skinny fat on the treadmills. This happens to women all the time. I don't want to lift weights and they'll get bulky. I just want to run on the treadmill. And then you see them and they have no muscle but they're fat. So you'd be skinny and fat at the same time. That doesn't make any sense, right? And you'll see people do the same thing over and over again. Tai Chi is the same problem. If you're doing the form the exact same way, with this exact same intent, okay, your heart rate's not changing, you got used to that timing, your body will adapt and it becomes too easy for you. Once it becomes easy, your body doesn't adapt anymore, okay? It won't change, okay? So you can burn, doing the form once is supposed to be equal to running 1 to 2 miles, okay? Do you want to get that effect of walking or running? Okay? So for each of you, the level of intensity will be different depending on the timing. Also, depending on how you're using the body and the breathing the legs. So, for instance, I get it. Yes, doing the form soft, there's a benefit to this, and there's certain benefits to this, but it's lacking in other avenues. Okay? So, there's ways of doing the form and getting metabolic effect without using Li per se. Okay? Changing the speed, changing the depth, and changing your breathing. So another thing is to forcefully do the expansion and contractions. So the first thing I would say to you is, how many of you are actually loading your legs while you're doing the form? And what I mean by that is when you first start doing the form, right? I don't care what form it is, and you're a beginner, it doesn't matter how deep your stance is. Just the stability issues, and you lifting your arms, you can have your shoulders and your hips, everything starts to burn, right? Because you're a beginner and you're not used to just holding your hand up, right? This is an isometric exercise. This is standing plank. So when you're doing this form, you're doing a plank. It's called a regression, okay? So when you're doing like standing postures, yeah, that's great using your structure, but there's still tendons and ligaments that are used to hold this up. They're in a plank mode, like I'm doing a plank on the ground. Okay, fine. I hope this is going to be helpful to people. I know people are going to argue with this. I don't care anymore. so let's start off with the stance, right? I could be standing at this height, but my legs aren't loaded. When I drop my weight and sink, I can sink to the ground, but am I loading my quads? And this is the thing I want you to understand. You should be loading your legs so that this feels solid. You should feel like the muscles are activating. When you're done, your quads should burn. Okay? Chen Men Ching was quoted saying that he trained so hard when he was living with his master that when he was done that day, he couldn't get on the bed. He had to crawl to the bed and he slept on the floor. That's how tired he was from doing Tai Chi. You're not supposed to be like, oh, this is easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Okay? Yes, there's a demographic where that's okay. For beginners learning the form, for just Qigong work, that's fine. But for fitness and fighting, it is not, okay? It's not going to work. We've got to get out of this delusion. And when you go and you track the histories of all these family arts, they did not start this way. This happened during the Beijing 24 after the revolution in China, where they're killing off the masses, blah, 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 blah. The history is the same, okay? This form of super soft Tai Chi is bullshit, okay? It's a fabrication. And there's only very few people who can make it work, and every one of them, predication is that they all stack it on top of their hard style training after. And then they make believe as if, oh, I've abandoned all this, my entire life work of training. Oh, it doesn't mean anything, I just erased it. It doesn't work like that. Every single master who can use the soft Tai Chi, like me and everybody else you've seen, we all have a common denominator, which is a hard style background. Every single one. Every single one. The real purists in China would go to, Jingyi, Baji, White Crane, and White Crane's a hard style in my opinion. Okay? If you ever touched hand with someone who does real White Crane, it does not feel soft. It feels like someone doing a Sanshin kata. Right? It's like they're not playing. Okay? It doesn't feel soft at all. And you feel like that iron wire coming at you, like they're gonna eat you. It doesn't feel like a friendly, fun thing to touch to see your hands, okay? So, okay, fine. So, loading the legs, right? Now, if you want to get a workout out of your Tai Chi form and still remain soft, you have to be activating something. There's something called orthosonic hypertension. So, harness hang syndrome. Basically, if you're in a harness and you get stuck hanging from something, if you can't get your legs on the ground to get the contractions from your thigh to move the blood around your heart and get hypoxia and you die, okay? You basically get like poisoned blood because your heart is not a pump, it's a valve. And you need the microcontractions from your stabilizer muscles to pull the blood around, okay? So if you get stuck without using your legs, your heart can't do its job. I know it sounds crazy, but the body doesn't work in isolation. So you'll notice that if you start doing the form, just get deeper, okay? Now, before you try this, remember there's a rule set for the length of your stance. Your length of your stance should never be more than 2.5 shoulder widths. So when you're trying to make your stance, say if you're doing a short form like this, and you feel like you can't bend anymore because your knees start to like collapse, you out of alignment, you have to make the stance bigger. So generally those forms, those type of soft forms, they'll use a walking step that is shoulder width long. Right? So here's my shoulders. My walking step in those soft forms is generally my shoulder length. Okay? The longest stance that you can make should be 2.5. Okay? So that's the length. Now I'm not talking about depth, because I can be at that stance and be almost knees locked. Okay? Or I can be sinking in and bending and actually loading my legs. So eating bitter you need to get that leg strength up where you can sit on your legs and it's half structure, half muscle. Okay? If you really want to get that effect, make the longest structural stance possible and sit down. This is how I train. Okay? So that I always feel my quads and my legs are loaded and my upper body is relaxed, but my lower body has tension. That's the yin-yang separation. Okay? So you can see I'm using Lee to push my structure around. Why is that important? Because relative strength, when I'm practicing like this and muscles being built and I come back up to this point and now I can relax, how much more relative strength do I have to somebody who's not practicing like that? So now when I go into soft mode, my baseline strength is 50% higher than already. Okay? It's also causing me to heat up my system and burn fat. Okay? So that's the first thing. That, you have to actually do work, and it should burn. Your legs should burn. If you're doing the Tai Chi form and your legs don't even feel warm, you're doing it wrong. You are doing it terribly wrong. You need to suffer. I know it sounds mean, I know it sounds messed up. You're supposed to be soft. It's nonsense. Look at all the derivative styles, even Yang style, and you look at the original forms, they were not this soft. Okay? And when you see an application, you guys can't fight. So you guys don't walk well. There's a common denominator. When you see the outcome of these systems, is that in older age, people lose their mobility. Yeah, great, they can do some Tai Chi trickery. That's great, but let me tell you something. If I come with a baseball bat and just swinging at you, that's not going to work. Okay? You're so it's not going to work. Okay? We got to get people back on the reality of things. Okay? Life is suffering. The first lesson of the Buddha, life is suffering, dude. Okay? And you have to be willing to eat bitter. That's all it is. It's like, that's the art. Martial art is warfare and seeking perfection. That's what my master was saying. Martial is saying to war, art is seeking perfection of. So how do you seek perfection in a martial art if your body is not prepared for warfare and surviving someone trying to kill you? So I get how do I say this? I get the Tai Chi for health and for hobby. That's fine. But at the same time, if you're going to role play, at least you don't have to be a fighter, but at least take a little bit of the aspect and put it into your normal training. Sweat a little bit, okay? Make sure you're able to move and you have your mobility. You don't want to wind up when you see generations, 3 generations already, of the people who do the super soft style, and in their old age, they move like shit. I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want you to be those guys, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, 200 years ago, none of the old Tai Chi masters moved like that. None of them, okay? Jinchawa, right? How old is he now? Like 60? And I still don't want to move anywhere near that guy. Okay? But look how he practices form. Whoa, it's like fucking holy shit. That dude punch a hole through you. Okay? And where did Yang style come from? From Chen style. So what is this nonsense arguments with the super soft shit? There's a time and place. Qigong work, alignments, and focusing on, specific technique. That's great. But that is one aspect of the circle, of the wheel, okay? Of the Tai Chi symbol. So you guys got to break out of this. Otherwise, we're all in a lot of trouble, okay? We're all going to be in a lot of trouble. So that's where we're at, okay? So we have the loading the legs. So remember, if you're going to make your stance longer, no longer than 2.5 shoulder widths. Very important. The ratios that everybody's body is the same when it comes to ratio. Okay, I'm 6'3", my 2.5 shoulder widths is the same. For instance, a female, her head will always be 2.5 shoulders, where a man will always be 3. Okay, it's just proportions. This is like, if you look at my shoulders, when I stand up straight, you can see I can put 3.5 heads, where a female can only put 2 of her heads. This is just the way that anatomy works. So we learn these tricks and use them in your form, okay? So when you're correcting yourself, how far is my shoulder? Here's 1, here's 2, here's 2.5. So there's my 2.5 shoulder length. Now I can do it standing up and be high in my stance, just not really loading my quads, not really, loading my glutes and all the other stuff in my core. Or I can sit down. And the amount of sitting down is how much balls do you have and how much bitterness do you want to eat. So when I'm really training, this is how I would train. So I want to feel that my quads are taking the weight and then force myself to relax my upper body, keep mobile. Okay? So right there, this burning is burning calories and causing all kinds of cool stuff to happen that makes you not sloppy. Okay? So you can get yourself to use just Tai Chi form to change your metabolism and build strength. Okay? You can do that and still in the realms of the classics. Okay? It is what it is. The next thing would be to use more force in your opening and closing phases. So what I mean by that is, I can just do the breathing, and my hands are completely limp and loose, and all I'm doing is just opening and closing my joints. That's great. Well, how do I explain this? Let's just say I want to, like I explain how, you think like Wolverine, I'm going to take my fingers and shoot them out. I want to reach. Now, from here, I'm going to forcefully reach. Okay? It's not like I'm shaking, but it's more than just open my fingers. It's like I'm trying to push a button, but the button's kind of sticky. So I really need to push the button. Okay? But it's not to the point where I'm using my triceps, I'm tense, but it's not to the point where I'm just opening my fingers. Okay? This is nice for Qigong, but if you don't have the metabolism and the tendons and muscles and the nervous system innervation, you're not going to be able to build Qi. Because there's no system to build the Qi with. Okay? You need something underneath the skin there. So load your legs, and then when you release, fine. When you release, that's great. But when I open up, I'm going to be pushing and expanding and thinking. I got to push, 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 push. And when I'm pushing from my entire back into my fingers. So that I have the thoracicolumnar fascia and all this other crap. I'm really pushing in, I'm reaching. When I do that reach, something happens to your abs. Okay? So there's half of them stays loose, like you do in the normal form. Okay, fine, I think my gut's kind of hanging. But then when I start to do the reach, my transverse abdominis has to start to collide. Right? For me to do this reach, I have to start using my abs. Now, I'm not sucking my abs in, but when I push, I start to condense, and that's where you start to get this exercise. Okay? So, when you start doing about reverse breathing, once you start doing the reverse breathing, now what are you doing? You're fighting against the pressure backwards. So I release, and I breathe in. What's happening here? I'm basically doing a crunch every time I do the reverse breathing. Okay? So this is one method, but this is the method that I use. So this is how I've gotten in shape, or stay in shape, and have a decent body over 40 without using any weights. I just started today, for the first time, actually lifting it all. Okay? So my entire everything for the last year has just been Tai Chi form. Okay? And I play drums. So that's basically it. So I hope that's really helpful for you guys. Because I know people have been asking me randomly questions about this, like, how do you get these effects? You have to change how you're doing the form. Don't do it like the people who don't look like the way you want to look. Okay? So, and that's what it is. It's just basically don't eat crap and actually make yourself suffer a little bit. And you don't have to go against the classic and start using lead. No, you have to actually load your legs, okay, and make the blood flow there and make them work. If you've been doing Tai Chi for years and your legs don't feel solid, like you should be able to stand there and take a good kick to the leg and not feel anything, because the muscle should be developed from standing. Okay? So if you don't have that, I would really evaluate your practice, because surely from Aping, Tai Chi, watch her do the form, okay? Yeah, she's soft, but then pay attention to how her legs and how the angle of her hip and how deep, how much quad load is happening, okay? Like, you gotta pay attention. Even the super soft chicks are harder than most of your guys, okay? It's like something has to change here. And yes, there's a point where, again, you could do the super soft, everything released. That's a very common, useful method for Qigong and alignment, but it's not going to get you fit. Okay, it's not gonna get you ready to fight. Because for fighting, you need to create a shell, a body that can handle the velocity, the stuff. You have to be able to output velocity, speed. Okay? So just doing extreme soft is never going to get you extreme hard. You need to do something that's at least preparing. I said this in the video where, in the live demo, where I'm saying, like, when I do the form, it's very similar to Yichar. Some of the mental things you have to do. Where I'm reaching, it's like I'm about to start doing that. And I want you to imagine the moment before you sneeze. It's that. But right before that happens, there's a feeling, and you have to catch the feeling right before the sneeze starts. And it's very hard to express this in language, or even to show you by touching. You have to just feel what I'm saying. You have to get that point where you're just about to start to go. And it's almost like you're about to spin your tires on a motorcycle or a car. Okay? It's like the tires want to spin. It's like the engine's revving, but you're not spinning the tires yet. But it's like right there at the edge. And you're just at that edge, relaxed, but you're still reaching. And what that's doing is it's causing this micro tension. That's like, I'm gonna go, I wanna go, I wanna go. But it doesn't look like that on the outside. It's just a feeling in your mind. And that feeling in your mind changes everything in the form. How your feet hit the ground, how your body activates, how you breathe, everything changes from that. So this is like really important. Because now when you start to go into like fighting application, what do you think is going to happen? You have to hit the guy. You're going to have to stop making believe that, oh, that's great. I can do all this magic 5 jing shai. I think I've proven it time and time again to go past this point. What is that going to do for me? The guy's going to keep coming. Okay? When you look at real Tai Chi, there's like charts of like Denmark, acupuncture, striking, breaking bones, pulling things apart of people. And like everybody in the West ignores this history. I was like, none of this has ever happened. These are warlords. You ever see the Tai Chi sword that was supposed to look like before the Beijing crap and they banned making weapons in China? Because it's illegal to have a weapon in China now. You can't have the real ones. They only have the floppy bullshit. Go find yourself a real Tai Chi gun, a real Tai Chi sword. Okay? Feel how heavy that shit is. Okay? I used to spar with some guys in New York with the real swords. It is not a game. Okay? These are guys that were fighting people in battle armor on horses. This is what Tai Chi was meant for. Do you think that these people were like, oh, I can barely walk? Come on, there's something missing in the training, guys. So before we get to this point where I'm going to say, I'm going to try to share what all the knowledge I've accumulated in the Tai Chi fighting theory as a historical reference, you guys have to like get the baseline. Because if I start showing you the real shit, you're going to break. Just trying to attempt it. Your body's not ready for it. And you don't have the self-control and the target awareness and the distance and stuff like that to not hurt your partners. Okay? So it's a mess you have to deal with. But I hope that this little foundational thing will help you guys. Because in 6 weeks, if you change your form and do it this way, I guarantee you, just follow the dietary prescriptions, don't eat fake sugar, only eat 3/5 of food per plate, and do the form with these slight changes, you're going to see you'll lose about 3% body fat in 6 weeks. I'm guaranteed, because those are major changes you do in your life. You're doing the form every day, right? At least once. It doesn't be a lot, just once a day, but you change that little aspect, and you change your diet, your body has to adapt. It's not rocket science. The problem is that the modern fitness communities, they teach bullshit. It's always the fad or, no, it's a lifestyle, and you have to change how you live daily, okay? And it accumulates. What I do is, like, my whole thing, because I'm smart, right? Because people think, if you're smart, you have to be like out of shape and a weird geek. No, I was smarter than everybody, so I said, why not use it to build my body? Okay? I have an advantage being smarter than everybody. So what I would do is I would do compound effects. Every time, for, 30 years, whenever I go upstairs, I always take them 2 at a time. Right? Why? Because if everyone's doing it 1 and I'm doing 2, I have double the advantage. My legs are stronger than yours. Because I'm walking every day double what you're walking. I walk a little faster than everybody, I walk double the steps. It just is what it is, okay? It accumulates. I used to carry an overloaded book bag everywhere I went. People used to be like, why is your book bag so heavy? I'm like, whatever. And I was like, no, but they understand. everywhere I went, I had this 50-pound bag on my back. Okay? I did that for years. So things like that, like how do I make the accumulation and how do I get that, think of like putting a penny in a jar every single day, you know? Or I like to say, when you're learning Tai Chi, you want to think like, I want to build a wall out of paint. So every day I put one coat of paint. At the end of that year, I have 365 coats of paint. That's what most people do. But if I do the form twice a day, I have double. But I do the form when I'm training 3 times a day twice. So I'm doing the form 6 times every day. Over the year, how much farther ahead of everybody that I am? You know, they're not going to keep up with me. And it's like, it's not like a crazy hard thing. The fact that I accumulate by constantly doing a little bit, you can't keep up with me. That's the whole idea. You don't have to go as hard as I did, but you can take these philosophies and add it to your life. This is not rocket science. Okay, so that was the main fitness thing. I want to get that out of the way because I'm deciding now what I want to do with my body if I want to get back in shape. Because, like, you know, people who knew me back in the days, I was a superhero. All right, I was like 225, 230. I was like 4% body fat. I looked like some like movie G.I. Joe guy. And I'm thinking, do I really want to? Because the thing I don't like about it is it makes me feel slow. You know, I'm getting older, so carrying all the extra weight. I don't know if I want to do it. So I'm deciding what I want to do at this point. But I'm going to start calisthenics now because I'm just fixing my back again and getting all my stuff in order. So I have to start doing calisthenics. So before I go into that phase where you start seeing me look like shredded, I don't want people to say, oh, he was lifting weights and it's not Tai Chi. No, this is just Tai Chi right now. So everything I'm doing right now is just not eating shit and just doing my Tai Chi form. And I want to make that clear so no one can come back later and go, oh, he's cheating, he's lifting weights. Okay? Right? And I'm going to say this another time, lifting weights does not affect Tai Chi. I've proven this. Okay? I've proven this, so it's nonsense. The problem is not having muscle control and not having good mechanics, right? So obviously, if you tight like this and you're holding your body trying to look tough, obviously, you have to be able to go from a completely relaxed state to completely flexed to completely relaxed. The problem is everyone wants to stay like this and walk around like this. That's the problem, okay? That's the issue, hypertonic activity, right? If I can just say relax, but then all of a sudden go into like tense, right? Where I can relax my gut and look like a fat, but then I can go and all of a sudden I can lock it in, right? That's the idea, having muscle that can go from loose to completely contracted to completely loose. That's what you really need to develop, all right? If you do that, lifting weights is not an issue. In fact, it's actually an advantage, okay? Because the more muscle fibers you have, the more neural connections you have, the more mitochondria you build, the more chi you have, right? The midichlorians, bro, you gotta be a Jedi, okay? So please hit the damn like button if you guys are popping in, because if you're not gonna pay me, at least support me, scumbags. All right, the next thing I was gonna talk about is I want to prepare for the application videos and the push hand, whatever. So the problem with application, right, is because most people, there's so many people who've never been in a fight, everything's theoretical, they're getting handed down generations of just very basic shit, and it's been watered down systematically. It's not organic. This happened systematically. It was destruction of the martial arts. Because you can see the degradation from the Beijing 24 form, that time in history, when the Beijing 24 happened, that changed martial arts, and from that point forward, it was a downhill progression everywhere, worldwide. You can go look at the timeline and see how hard the karate styles were, how hard the Chinese styles were, and then the Koreans also. And then at that point, it started to slowly degrade, right? Then the Vietnam was like, the golden era, the end of it. Once the 70s hit, the 70s martial arts started to dive. By the 80s, it was falling apart. You had the Olympic Taekwondo and the sport. And by the early 90s, you had kiddie karate and like fucking adult daycare. And then you had like karate birthdays and all this bullshit. And then here we are now. Okay? So teaching application is going to be a trip. Because there's philosophy issues and there's training issues. And most people, even the guys who think they're good, you guys have no idea how hard I trained and how hard people like me train. I mean, I'm not saying, but I was, there was a time I was training for the Olympic Taekwondo team. I was training to go to UFC, okay? Like in the early 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s, I got many offers, okay? And I was really considering it, so I was training for that. But I was training like that anyway, okay? Like, it's been my whole life. So, like somebody said to me in a video, in a short video, like, he has so much power because he's loose. I'm like, that's not it. I've been throwing punches since I was 4 years old. It's over 40 years, okay? And it's been my main profession. It's been my main expression in life is martial arts and boxing. So I've literally done nothing else more than martial arts in my entire life. Like I've always, since I was 16 years old, I've been teaching. Whether it's in a commercial school or a couple of private students, I have not stopped, okay? The only time I've stopped at all is most recently because of the lockdown situation. And even then I had online students and I have you guys, okay? So it's a lot more that people don't see it. And they underestimate me because they can't comprehend the level of training and how hard I went for how many years. So it's very difficult for me to interact with people when they can't even fathom what I'm talking about, right? And the amount of hours you're going to need to put in and have cooperative partners and spar and all this stuff. If you're not willing to spar and free sparring, right, you're not going to get applications. You have to go through the stages. So we talked about this in the last video. In karate and like other like systematic styles, military type styles, right? You have a very distinct syllabus, and the old John styles used to have this. Yang Min has it, right? Where there's a stepwise order where you learn specific drills that go into free sparring and then real application. So, learning one-step attacks first, right? Where you have someone do the sitting duck technique, okay? Where you sit there and the guy throws a punch, a very specific technique, and he holds it there, and then you do target association distance training, right? Getting your mind to understand distance, timing, hitting an opponent, and then your partner is learning not to flinch and accept things coming at his face. So people don't realize that is a very important thing when you're doing one steps properly, right? And you're standing here, and this guy's gonna throw a punch as hard as he can and stop it an inch from your face. That's the real way it's done in karate, right? Where you throw your punch, and I go, and I have to stop it an inch from your face, okay? And that idea of target training is for both sides. You know, the receiver has to stay there and not move. That gives you a certain amount of discipline, but it also gives you target and angle awareness because you're watching him throw these techniques over and over again, you start to see the lines. So as a partner, being the receiving side is very important. You have to be a dummy. You have to let people throw you around. You have to get attacked. Because you need to see and get this input, sensory input, so you can train your body's memory. People say there's no such thing as motor memory. There is something as motor memory, because you're not thinking when you're walking. So motor memory, body memory, it's very real, okay? Now, there's arguments about, oh, is it being stored in the brain? It doesn't matter. There is a separate part of the consciousness that controls motion, movement, proprioception, mechanoception, and interoception. It's separate than your consciousness. It has to be trained separately, because they run in automation. If you play any musical instruments, you're not thinking, push your finger here. You can't do that, right? No classically trained pianist is saying, oh, put my finger here. But no, the hand's programmed. And they can have a conversation with you, oh, blah, 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 and then, blah, 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 right? Same idea. So you have to be willing to put the same amount of intense training to be able to learn the real shit. You gotta train like the real shit. And you have to be willing to put yourself in the mix. And you're gonna get hit, and you're gonna get bruises. Sometimes in the worst case scenario, you have to go to the hospital. It happens. But if you're not willing to do that and expect to accept the injuries, don't start. My master said to me, my Shingon master, he said, you know, when you're learning a hard style, because your intent is on doing harm, you have to take harm. It's the karma, right? And it just is what it is, cause and effect, law of equivalence. So there's things that happen. Okay, you get banged up, you get bruises, but those bruises, Wolf's Law, microfractures and things like that, they build up and get stronger, right? So, the same thing when you're hitting your leg with the fucking sticks. Okay, it sucks. Okay, it sucks really bad, but you have to do it, Okay? Or we take the bottles, the glass bottles, or the stick, and you roll it down your fucking shins. Okay, this sucks. I fucking hate this. I hate this more than anything. Okay? But you have to do it. Okay? You have to do it. You have to accept pain. Alright? Trust me, it doesn't feel good. I haven't done it in a while, but it's like, it still doesn't feel good to me, even though I did it for years. It sucks. It fucking burns and it feels like pain. Nothing good about this. You have to just take it. Okay? So, and there's another type of pain, which is mental pain, choice fatigue, just dealing with the boredom, not wanting to do it over and over again, having cooperative partners. There's a lot of problems. So, it is what it is, okay? So, where were we? Sorry about rambling. But I want to make this concise because I have to stack this up to what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks so that people have a reference to go back to. Because there's no point. I'm going to show you guys stuff that's going to be so far over your head that it's just going to be me showing off a historical reference. You know, like I'm going to do this as a request. I always, that I want to make an application library syllabus that is universal, that can lead to you guys in your schools can say, oh, that's a good idea, let me see, I can finagle this and make it something else. But if we don't have this basic understanding of how to train to fight or for combat, because fighting and combat is different. Okay, I don't believe in this, sport fighting is not real combat. All right, it's completely different. Classical karate is made for combat, right? It's not meant for, all this exchanges and rules. No, classical karate is a sword fight, and whoever gets cut first loses. You're maimed, you're dead. Okay? It's a bare knuckle reverse punch, like real karate. You can break a brick with a punch. I used to go into tournaments and break 7 inches of pine stacked together with no spacers. And I'm not talking about the bullshit karate boards, the quarter inch. No, I'm talking about 1 inch nominal pine. Fucking shelving, wood shelving. That's what we use, the old school. I use 7 inches of that. You can't take that shot. Nobody can take that shot. Okay? So we take the gloves off and I fucking bang, hit you, blast you with this. I guarantee you, you're going to the fucking hospital. Okay? You're going to be eating out of a straw for a long time. That's classical karate. That's tai chi. You should be able, it's a one-shot, one-kill system. Right? And it's meant to be deceptive and cheesy and just finagling nonsense. Like you want to just do the most damaging, horrible shit you can. And there's 2 methods to this, where it's overpowering the opponent with extreme force or getting him with finesse. So you have power and finesse. So that's the way we divide technique. You have power techniques and finesse technique. Right? Finesse techniques are where you hit them in a soft target and use timing and angles so you disable them. Or power is when you hit them with something that's like a freaking wrecking ball. That if it touches this person, they're going down. Okay? Like you have to be some machine, like some metal man to be able to handle the kind of shots we're talking about. So this mindset of you want to learn applications, and I'm speaking, and I'm not talking specifically to people, because 2 people, actually no, 3 people have asked me for this, but I'm not speaking specifically to them, I'm speaking to the general population who watches my videos and is going to share them and talk shit. You guys got to get into reality, okay? Into how things actually work. And it's kind of funny because we do have a subset of the Chinese community who actually fought. Like they fought. They put gloves on and they hit each other. And then you have this other sector of the community who makes believe that their soft, pushy bullshit is going to be able to handle a guy punching him in the face. But the problem is, the people who punch him in the face think that there's no value in the soft side. Right? The problem is that they're supposed to work together as a unit, a whole. Aki Jiu-Jitsu is a perfect example of this. Aki Jiu-Jitsu, and maybe this is why I have such an advantage, because I understand the spectrum of martial arts and how they're applied. How do I say it? It's efficiency in motion and combat, where you want to get the most amount of power and damage, the least amount of effort on your part, right? But you still have to be hitting the guy. There's still force. There's still something happening. There's still speed. It's always so many conditions where you're going to be able to just gently sidestep and then poke him in the eyeball. Okay? It's like, it's not going to work, guys. You have to take the lion out, or the evil crane and the angry snake, and become those animals. I can't express this enough. The reason Tai Chi is taught in metaphor is because these masters in those days understood how the mind works and what hypnosis is, right? And I mean this in a broad, holistic term. How do you elicit body responses? So, and also how do you keep information safe, okay? The people in those days saw cranes and hawks and snakes fighting. They actually saw cranes, like birds, fight and attack things and eat them, right? So it may look all pretty, but they're not playing. Has it been 5 years? That's great. So that's nice. Are you one of my bitches or one of my bitches cum depositories? I can't tell. Anyway. So, where were we? The detractors, great, a bunch of fucking losers. So, where were we here? So they talk about like, snake and crane energy. If you don't believe me when I say that watch Yang Zhengmin do his form, Dr. Yang. Watch him do his form and the type of like shaking, like that feeding crane energy that he has. When you see, and you see him fajing, this is not soft shit. Right? It's like an angry bird, giant bird flapping its wings trying to eat you. Okay? You have to get that in your head. If you want to learn the real fighting applications, you have to think, how are you going to hit somebody in a fight? So if you're not going to do that, you're wasting your time and you're wasting life. So just don't waste your fucking time. So then, all right, so go from one-step attacks to, let's just say, like, push hands application, like applying the application of push hands. So you'll have, like, for instance, Penglu on the cycle. When you learn that first push hands form, right, where it's the basic chess game, right? You do ward off and roll back, and then they do the opposite that teaches them the steps, and it's basically speed chess, right? When you see the four corner energy, you do Penglu Jian, flip chess, they basically, if you do this, they do seal, they do fucking, if you do G, they do Liu, right? I'm sorry, if they do Liu, you do G to protect your elbow. It's that kind of game. Fine, now you go into push hands, but when most people play push hands, and this is the kicker. Tai Chi is also about emptiness and fluidity and not claiming space. But you see that the majority of people who do Tai Chi are doing fixed position push hands, their main method of training. And wonder why they're getting their ass kicked in fights. Okay? Because you're trying to hold it. I'm going to hold this space, I'm going to hold this space, I'm going to hold this space. But who the hell is going to fight like that? It's not going to happen. Right? It's a great game, but if that's all you do, don't expect it to work for you. It's not going to happen. Alright? And then you have to be able to take, okay, fine, so now you're doing free push hands. And you'll see a good example of this is I did the World Tai Chi Day video, I think like 2016. I'm in the park with Mike. There's two parts to this video. But if you see me do push hands with him, you see me literally go through the applications, and I'll stop and do the application again so you can see it's the application, right? You have to be able to apply strict application from the form from random impulse. People, it's a problem in martial arts in general now. Boxers stay in their boxing game. A lot of Wing Chun guys will stay in their Wing Chun game, even when they're losing. Everybody else, they fall off. I remember I was judging this tournament, and there was two karate taekwondo teams fighting. It was a big apple game. I don't know what it was. And I remember like, they're in the fight, like, oh, saw, and they're tapping each other, and they're doing a little point game. And then somebody got pissed off at the other person, and it's like, oh yeah, now it's on. They throw their gear off, and they start just swinging like schoolgirl kids. I walk up to them and just grab one of my hand, and put the other one in the front. I'm like, what are you guys fucking doing? I'm like, Harry, these two grown-ass men. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Now you're not, what the fuck was that before? I couldn't believe what I was watching. So, you have to be able to stay in your game and apply the form technique to random stimulus. Because that's another level, right? Then you have to be able to start to free flow and wind up and let the opponent lead you. This is the last level where you're actually combat effective, where the opponent leads. And if you're going to do any kind of real high-level grappling, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, taiji, suijiao, like any of the chin stuff, if you're going to do it correctly, you have to get to a place where you're in the mushin level of the mind. Your mind is empty and your body, the body memory is playing speed chess. And they put you into your technique in the form. But the thing is that your body only knows form shape. It wants to go to the most efficient shape possible, right? And you have to program that to make that your natural movement, so that the response triggers natural movement that's efficient. So it's the staging you have to go through. Teaching people application is not going to do shit if they don't go through the entire process from beginning to end. Right? It's not going to work. You're never going to get to the point where you can even sport fight. If you be able to defend yourself in the street, you have to be able to make this your response on an animalistic level. Right? Where your flinch response is not, you get punched in the face, you go, oh! No, it's, oh, whoa, let's go, I'm ready to go. Right? And that takes time and stimulus training. Okay? And if my daughter or son came in here and didn't hit the fucking like button, go fuck yourself. You're a scumbag. That's why I haven't saw you in 5 years. So, oh man. So that was the main concern. Because if I can't get this across to the community that you guys are training wrong, like your entire worldview about fitness and health and fighting and historical Tai Chi and philosophy and the core, and everything you know is bullshit. It's laid on bullshit. Now, it's not bullshit if that's really your outcome goal. Listen, if your sport Tai Chi or your park Tai Chi is all you want to get out of it, bless you, go for it. And I always say this, I'm not against Tai Chi for health or Qigong, obviously, it's nonsense. But you have to not live in delusion and understand that there's a guy, Ake Research, I put him on the recommended channel list on my page, ACHD Research. And he came up with a phrase, I don't remember his name, sorry, but this is his channel. And he was saying to call it Tai Chi Gong, okay? And there's a TED Talk about this, describing the mistranslation of Tai Chi versus Taiji, because when you go back to the original way the characters were written before simplification, it's not the same word. It's Taiji, not Tai Chi. You do Taiji to get your chi. Okay? So there's a TED Talk with a famous master guy, and you can look it up, and if anybody wants to see, I'll post it in the Discord if anybody wants to catch it. But if you're going to do park Tai Chi for health, and that's fine, but don't call it the same thing as the martial aspect, and don't make believe it's ever going to get you there, because it will not. It all leads to the same place, okay? It will keep you in general health, and it'll make you, but the method is a lazy way to keep you at just baseline health, right? Without these extra little things, you're not going to, you should be able to do a lot of what you're doing as a young man in your 80s. And aside from like obviously injuries and real illnesses, but aside from that, why are there 70 to 90-year-old men who are still able to do freaking leaping kicks? What are they doing differently that you're not doing? Don't say that everybody around you is wrong. No, when you see 50 to 100 years of the same result, why are you following them? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Look at Chen Zhaohua, right, at his age, and look how he moves. Why does he move like that? Because he's doing the floor like, he's a fucking animal. He's an animal. That's why he's like, how the fuck was he, 60-something? I'm assuming. Guy's a beast, okay? A freaking beast. Why? Because he trained like that and he still trains to farm like that. You understand? If you're training like this in your 20s to 50s, you're only going to go downhill. You need to overtrain when you can. Overtrain so that you have a buffer space, okay? So you want to at least, if you don't want to go and load your legs hard and sweat, at least train mobility. At least use the biggest stance you can. At least really get these joints to turn. Okay, at least really reach. Okay, really reach and like move stuff. Okay? Don't just sit here like this. Because what's gonna happen, you'll be 80, and respect to William Chen, Because he can still throw a damn punch and he's still good at push hands, but watch him walk. Same as Chen Ben Ching. They can't run. Why is it that there's some guys who can run in their 80s, but then there's no Tai Chi people who can run? Name me one Tai Chi master in the modern era who uses soft form who can run. Name one. I'll wait, okay? Find me one. It's a problem. It doesn't translate into reality. So either you need to start cross-training and doing the life training that helps you deal with life and keep your mobility and functionality so you can keep your soft Tai Chi shit, or you need to change your Tai Chi approach and go more old school and holistic where it encompasses everything. Where you have the entire wheel, not a yin death. It's very important. I can't get to Zoom people enough. Because they're going to say, oh, you're using too much Li. I'm like, you're not using enough Li. I'm not going to play this game with you guys. If you can't keep up with me, with all my injuries and years of getting shot, hit, bats, cuts, car accidents, falling off of fucking moving vehicles, like I've done crazy shit, like superhero shit, okay? And you can't keep up with me? It's your fault. You're doing something wrong. Don't say this make-believe like delusion that my training's not the real Tai Chi. Your training's right. You look like shit, you move like shit, you can't hang with me. I'll fucking manhandle you all. Okay? I'm just gonna manhandle you. And it is what it is. I'm not gonna play humble anymore because it's not helping people. Okay? And it's like, I have to be aggressive out of love for you because if someone doesn't smack reality, you're gonna die and be sick and hopeless. Okay? You need to be shook up into reality. You can't live like this. Especially with the hard times that are coming. Because hard times are coming. You need to prepare. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Prepare yourself for war. Okay? And I mean this in every sense of the word. Every sense of the word. Because life is a struggle. You have to prepare yourself for the struggle. And you're not going to be able to find any spiritual path if you're weak, if you're sick, if you're scared. Okay? Now, there's communities of people who, through their good karma, bless them, can live in this happy bubble where they can make believe there's no suffering and they can say, oh, we're just going to wish for peace all the time and we're never going to defend ourselves. And then what happens to those people? The bad people come eventually and they hurt them. They rob them, right? Or, it's just nothing good happens. It's an out of balance. And what do? They get people to protect them that are outside the community. So they're using violence by proxy. These spiritual communities can't defend themselves, right? How many times did Shaolin Temple get burned down? Okay? So there's an issue even with spirituality that we need to prepare people for the suffering in life, and you can't wish it away. You can't wish it away. It's not going to happen. So you can say I'm a mean guy, I'm an asshole. It doesn't matter. What I'm telling you is the truth. And you can accept the truth, or you can go do it your way, which is basically the way it's been done by all these people who are failing at life. Because if you've been doing the form for 20 years, and you're getting worse and worse shape, and you're not able to walk anymore, and you're starting to get like bigger and bigger. You're getting too fat, or you're too skinny, or you have mobility issues, or you have no strength to do basic life functions. You've done something terribly wrong with your life. And if you're an instructor who's done this, and you've done this for generations, because this is what my master did, you need to be a man or a woman and say to yourself, you know what? It's time to adapt. It's time to change. It's time to fix this problem. Okay? Because we have spiritual, psychological sickness in people. It's like evil is good and good is evil. Like everything's upside down. The whole world's upside down. You know what I mean? Look at these idiots coming to my channel. Look at this fucking comment. What is this? Okay? 7 people watching here now. I got 3 likes. You can't hit the like button. You guys are spiritually corrupt. You guys are fucked up. You know how many people watch me and just talk shit? You guys are mental. Like fucking mental. So anyway, that's the moral of the story is that we have bigger problems than just the application and fighting theory. We have to get you guys the foundation, mental and physical foundation, spiritual foundations, to get you to a place where you're even able to practice what I'm about to show you. Okay? And I'm worried that if I show you guys the real stuff too much, they're going to take it down. Because it doesn't look like they want it out anyway. So I have to be very careful about how I do this. And then the other issue is that some of the real applications are very dangerous. And they're very easy. Okay? For instance, like the dislocations of the arm breaks. It's very easy to hyperextend someone's elbow during sparring or during like a push hand technique. It's very easy. Okay? It's very easy. In fact, the best way I can explain this to you is this. Fighting someone to just like, do damage is much more difficult than to maim or kill them. When you go, fighting is much more difficult than combat. Okay? In a combat situation, I have a 50-50 with anybody in the world. Anybody. Okay? I guarantee you, because it'll come down to first shot advantage. Whoever gets touched first is dead or maimed. That's combat. And it's a completely different library and concept of technique than in fighting. Fighting is much more difficult. It's like, a lot of guys can kick my ass in a fight. A lot of guys. Okay? I guarantee you, everyone who's gonna kick my ass in a fight, I'll fucking kill them. If we're in a 50-50 in a combat situation, I have equal odds. In fact, I may have an advantage because all I've done is train that. Okay? So my first shot, consciously punching somebody in the throat to me is not a problem. You know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna just think. I think like that. Okay? Like if you're gonna grab me, I'm gonna rip your fucking ear off. I really don't care. I am that guy. Okay? It won't be the first time. So I'm trying to explain, like, there's a level that I will take it to you not understanding. That's the level you need to understand to be combat efficient in any martial art. It's martial warfare. Warfare. Not playing games, not winning trophies, not showing off. I need to go home. I need to protect my family. And anybody that knows me, you fuck with my family, you fuck with you're having a bad day. And in real life, I'm the most calm, like, peaceful. Nobody ever expects me. In fact, people think I'm a pussy. And I like it like that. Oh, he's just a long-haired musician guy. He's skinny. And I'll be like, oh, and then they'll go and I switch into the animal, and like, where the fuck did that come from? If you don't have that and you can develop that, forget it. Forget this. I'm gonna be a taiji fighter guy. Forget it. If you're not gonna get snake and hawk energy in your mind, in your soul, and understand what that really means, look at the guys who teach feeding crane. Right? Or any of the white crane systems, what do they say? It's like, I'm hungry and you're my prey. I'm going to eat you. Okay? When I say people, I'm going to eat you, I mean I'm going to tear you up. I used to teach boxing, and I teach boxing, I always say, when you hit somebody, you put your hand in the refrigerator, or you put your hand in the cookie jar, and eat the cookie. Okay? So you get back to your guard by eating the cookie. So if I hit you, right, I want to eat it to get back to my guard. So... right? I want to get back to my guard, so I want to feed myself, constantly stuff on my face. You have to get this idea of animal power mentality before I can even just fathom beginning to show you these applications. Because what's the point? Because then it's like, I can show you all these cool sword things. I can show you rope dart and sword and the staff and these cool tricks and swingy stuff. But what's that going to do other than show off and say, oh, cool, look at me? I know it's hard for people to understand because I'm really thinking about this, how people see me on the internet. They don't understand why I do this. They don't get it. Like, they think it's about the views and I don't give a shit about that. The philosophy is completely different. I don't know how to relate to you people. It's really, it's difficult because you're all fucking phony, okay, or corrupt, or trolls. How many of you guys are watching here and you're talking your little fucking chats, talking shit? You're a bunch of fucking punks, okay? And like, oh, you're a Buddhist, dude. You're supposed to be nice to people. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And it's kind of funny because if you see, for instance, Wu Mountain, and you see them teaching, the masters there, and they're also calm drinking tea, and then you see the behind-the-scenes footage. No, it's not nice. Okay, there's how you present yourself to save face, and there's the reality. Okay, I go back to Jesus and how they lie about his story. If you read the Bible, he was not this pacifistic guy. Well, yes, he's a pacifist, right? Because a pacifist is someone who's capable of extreme violence but chooses not to. So he was a pacifist. He chose not to a lot of times. But you know what? When people ask what would Jesus do, tell them flipping tables is a viable option. And chasing people with a whip and beating their ass. Okay? He was sarcastic. You know, even the Buddha had an attitude. Most people don't when you look at the old teaching. So it's look, I get it. Like there's a point, and like I say, this right action, right speech, right livelihood is dependent on the people I'm with. If I'm in a Qigong class or the Buddhist temple, how I present outwardly myself and how the character I'm going to play is associated to the community, right? If we're talking about fighting and warfare, and I have to make motherfuckers. I have to get you to a point where you're at the store and somebody tries to rob you, your wife, and your kids, and the guy just stabbed your wife. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay? When your wife is bleeding out and now you're next, are you ready? That is combat martial arts. It's not this fucking game. It is life and death. And you have to get hard. Okay? Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, hard. Okay? And it doesn't make you a bad person, but you need to understand that the entire taiji wheel, you cannot be on one side. You have to have your light and dark. The shadow and the light have to come together. In fact, you cannot even go to the light path if you don't understand what the shadow is. If you don't understand your shadow and you make believe that you don't have a dark side, you can't get to the light because you're living in illusion and lies. Any person who's a spiritual leader, who's accomplished like the forms of enlightenment, they've done it because in closed door and secret, they've addressed all their shadow attributes. And they've merged them, and they control them, and they use that to power up the light side. If you're going to sit here and make believe that you're not aggressive, and you're not an asshole, and you have no sin in your life, it comes into delusion, and the idiots who come here to troll, and they think they're better than everybody, and the pretentious narcissistic bullshit, and it creates this fucking psychological nonsense. Okay? This is why you're all sick, or why adults will come into my channel with these stupid fucking comments. Why adults will come watch my channel and won't hit the fucking like button. Okay? We have spiritual sickness that needs to be addressed. Okay? And we're not going to do it by coddling people and, oh, everything's good, it's not. It's great when you have certain, and recently I was asked to speak for these people, and they have that community I'm talking about, where they have their protection of their close cell of people. When they're together, they can live that peaceful life, and they can pray and do it. But what happens when those events leave? These people go back to their real life, interacting with the darkness. Okay? And they need to be prepared, and it's hard. Because you want to maintain your spiritual attributes and be that light path for them, and be the moral compass for them. But if you hide the reality of the shadow of life, they're going to be encompassed by darkness. They're always going to be seeking the master's help. They're never going to be free. You can't make another master by hiding them from Satan. You have to look it right in the eyes and find out it's inside of you, okay? That you're a piece of shit, and you need to fix it. You need to fix all of you guys. You know, how many trolls come and watch and blah, 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 and talking shit? You guys are fucking losers. Like, look at yourself in the mirror. You're a fucking loser, and you'll talk shit about me. Okay? When you look on paper who I am compared to you, you shouldn't be allowed to watch my channel. You should be begging me to grace you with my presence. Okay? That's the level we're talking about, and none of you guys understand anymore, because you're spiritually, mentally corrupt, and you're weak. So if we don't fix this weakness, what's the point? Like Tai Chi already, nobody was such a typical, because you guys have ruined the community so terribly. Not just on the bad technique, and the watered down competitions, and your freaking, Dungeons and Dragons playing yourself pajamas shit, but your fundamental concept of community has been affected by Western culture, has destroyed the fabric of our society. You guys don't even make friends with each other. It's stupid. You know why your schools are failing? Because you have no fucking connection to people. You know why? Because you don't make them, because you don't like them. And when people try to help you, what do? You push them away, you fight because you're insecure. Somebody has to be the best. Somebody has to do it. I'll take the role, right? It is what it is. Somebody has to stand up and say, I'm the shit, right? Humility in this era doesn't work anymore. It's like humility is basically people saying, oh, you're shining too bright, you're making me look stupid. I can't play this game in 2023. It's not the 90s, not the 50s. No one's going to respect. No, we have to deal with people in the modality they understand. And this is what they understand. You're an idiot. You suck. You suck at life. Fix it. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself for real. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, like everything. And ask yourself, am I my best self? Perfection is a path that never ends. Have you improved your life and the lives of the people around you 1% every day? That's all I'm fucking asking. But no, you people stay at the same level or you go down. That's why you can't understand me. Because my life philosophy is so different from yours. You guys, I'm like a fucking alien. And if I start talking about spirituality, the real shit, you guys are going to get lost. You're fucking lost. What do I do with you? So that's where we're at. I don't know how many people are here. Any questions, comments, accusations? Any questions from anybody? Hit the like button. I'll hang out for a minute. How long are we here for? An hour 10. Okay, that's a good enough rant. There was some good stuff. Anybody coming in now, so you should probably watch the stream when it's over. But any questions, comments, accusations? Don't be scared. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You see what I'm talking about, right? YouTube is broken. That's my point. That's another issue that bothers me about the community. Because people know it's broken, right? And then these trolls will try to play and gaslight it, all right? A lot of these guys pay for the subscribers and pay for likes. And now YouTube caught on to that. So now what YouTube's doing is restricting people's accounts and then asking you to pay for promotions. Okay? YouTube is not, the business model is failing, and they need to cull a lot of their employees and start over. They really do, because the business model is terrible. I mean, it's just not, it's not right. But I appreciate you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. But any questions, comments, or anything you guys want to see, I'm here for you as long as I can. I'm doing the best I can for you guys. And I have so many requests, and I want to help out while I'm still, young enough and functional. Because it needs to get done. Just on the principle. Somebody has to smack reality to these people. Okay? Like Tai Chi's gotten so bad the last 3 years, I can't teach anymore. Nobody wants it. They've ruined it so much that people hear the name like, what am I going to do with that? It's for old people. That doesn't work. That's bullshit. Oh, that's mad. It's like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to keep doing this on the side to help people and for historical reference, but I'm at the point where I'm so disgusted with the communities and the people that I just don't want to deal with them anymore, I'll be honest with you. It's not about the YouTube, whatever. I mean, I've been dealing with the shadow ban nonsense for a decade. Before people even accepted what was real, I was telling people that was crazy. Now it's happening to everybody. I can't say I'm crazy anymore. But it's not the problem, because I don't even care about that. The people suck. Like, you see these forums, like, just imagine you're not in the Tai Chi community, okay? You're a third-party observer, and you go into these forums, and you look at these conversations, right? Look at my daughter person. It's been 5 years. I don't know what the fuck that is, right? Look at these conversations. And this guy says, hello, how are you doing? Thank you. I appreciate that. How many conversations do you have like that are normal, cordial, human responses? Hey, how you doing? What's going on? No, it's like somebody will post something, and you'll have 10 people, well, that sucks because this, and my teacher does it like that, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it's so terrible. And then they look at me like I'm the asshole for calling it out. I'm like, no, you guys are bad people. You guys are just bad people. And then if you're in shape, or you look remotely decent, oh, you're pretentious, or you're narcissistic, or, you care too much about them. No! Like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to fucking be sick, and I want to be able to move. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know what to do with these people. I really don't know what to do with these people. It's just not what I expected to happen when I started this channel 10 years ago, This is like the exact opposite of where I thought the world would be. I felt it coming, but like my idealism, I wanted something else to happen. You know, I don't know. I was hoping that I'd be able to find like the big Tai Chi, because the one thing I mean I was disillusioned by like World Tai Chi days and like the park communities, and I was looking for where's the big Chi, where's the big Tai Chi community, and there isn't one. There's these small pockets that are basically just sales funnels. That's all it is. Every one of these communities is a sales funnel. There's no community. I have the only real community I tried to start in Discord, and they don't know how to interact with each other. I try to feed the fuel. People don't care. They don't want it. It's like it's really hard. It's really hard. Even in regular life, just to make friends with people anymore. Like they've ruined it with social media. People forgot how to talk to people. And I hate to say this because it's hard for people to understand what I mean by this, but even Buddhism, the real reason why it was kept in order is the threat of violence. It's a threat of violence and pain. Anybody who did military science will tell you there's only like 3 motivations, right? So basically, you can reward someone, threaten someone, or cause them pain. To get someone to comply, you reward them, you threaten them, or you give them pain, right? So you go into like a Buddhist temple or any kind of the old martial arts schools, what do you get? You get the reward, the master's blessing, you get the reward to be in shape, you get the reward for having technique. If that doesn't work, you get threatened. Listen, we try it this way, but you're not listening. If you don't do it this way, this is what's going to happen to you. If that doesn't work, you get pain. You get hit with the stick. And I said this before, my master, like when we were training, he would put us in a front stance or a back stance or a horse stance, and he would go and we would sit, and we would sit like this, and he'd leave. And he'd come back a half hour, an hour later, and he'd check the sweat stain on the floor from your foot. And if that fucking sweat stain wasn't perfect, you got your ass beat. That was how it was taught. And then when you look at the Buddhist communities, the masters would hit you with a stick. When you go to meditation, the master would walk around the room with a stick and smack you. The old ways, like the Buddhist samurais, and only like the way people thought of violence was not, the connotation was different. Spanking your kids was considered love. It wasn't abuse yet. Okay? Like Chinese parents for eons, when the kids look bad, you kneel on rice. Have you ever kneeled on rice? It really sucks. Okay? I had to do that a couple times. But yeah, like that was one of the punishments. Like go kneel in the corner at rice. Look, you stare at the blank wall, your nose on the wall, kneeling on rice. I swear to God. Okay? But it sounds harsh, it sounds mean, but it's tough love, right? Because that is a way to change your behavior, to prepare you so that something worse doesn't happen to you. So, understanding aggression in a way that's beneficial to people, because you can't hide that we have the light and the dark within us. The only thing we can do is to tame the dark side and make it work for the light. That's the true way, in my opinion, is not to abandon your shadow self, but to befriend it and train it so it works in accordance with the light. For instance, a mother who has to protect, I don't care how much of a Buddhist saint you are, you take that woman's kids and you attack them, she will go into the dark side. Okay? She will go to the dark side, she will tear you up. It's this maternal instinct, it happens. Right? The lioness comes out. Is she evil? So this is where the perceptual issues come to play with Buddhism philosophy that people misunderstand. Right? That there's universal good and evil in the universe, and there's perceived good and evil in the universe. Sometimes what you think is evil is actually good. Sometimes what you think is good is actually evil. But perceptually, who the hell knows? Okay? So these philosophy issues, because the Western mind is so broken, they can't grasp fundamental concepts of like the philosophies of reality, spirituality and that Eastern psychology and how things actually operate. In fact, it's been lost in even Eastern societies now because they've become too double light. And I say this again, you can't live that super pristine double light side outside of the monastery, protections of the monastery. And even in there's internal dramas and things that happen. It's not natural. We're not in the density plane high enough spiritually to play that game. We have to deal in absolutes in the reality we're witnessing. And I think that's from a spiritual standpoint, you're permanent beings, right? Your soul and your awareness doesn't die, right? It just transfers around, and its ability to stay unified when you pass is what it is. But because instinctually we know that we're permanent, our consciousness is permanent, when we come into this reality, we want everything to be permanent like us. We want everything to be in our highest conscious like us. We want everything to be happy, joy, no suffering. We want nothing to change because we don't change. Spiritually, our awareness field is a construct, it's eternal. It's only now. Time is the infinite moment experience, T-I-M-E. Right? The infinite moment experience is only now. Infinitely. Right? The body, everything around us is changing, but the universe constant, our constant is inside, doesn't change. So this presents a lot of problems when you come into the body and the ego shell and presenting consciousness. There's a lot of problems. So we tend to try to force nature to conform outside of its dimensional density parameter. Nothing in this reality is in its current, it wants to be in that shape. This table, this plastic milk jug, this remote control, this hairbrush, none of these things are in this proper form. And they're basically been taken from one form of matter and manipulated to create these shapes and these existences, but they all will eventually return to its natural primordial form. Our consciousness as an awareness field will become the ego body, can't handle that. Because this is nothing that's constant but change here. Right? So we see that and we're trying to fucking fight to keep everything and then we start to lie to ourselves and create these like illusions to handle the suffering in this reality. And it causes a lot of problems socially, spiritually. It's a lot of problems. And these understandings are essential to be able to go back to Tai Chi and fix the Tai Chi problem, because it is a social, psychological, spiritual issue first. Right? If we can't change the dichotomy and the understanding and the premises of what the martial art is and how martial art should be practiced and what the outcome goals are, what's the point of me teaching application? I mean, I can do everything else and make money off of it, but then I'm just giving nuclear weapons to morons. So if I teach you guys all the real shit that can hurt people, fine, you'll learn a couple of shit's gonna hurt people. Some bad people, will wind up getting a couple of things that don't hurt people. And it's like, okay, great, what did I get out of it? So it's a difficult position to be in when the world is completely lost its damn mind. And when I look at the spiritual communities and how they have to work in isolation, there's a point where how are they helping the people who need it, who are suffering or who are lost in the shadow side of reality? So there are spiritual communities who do really good work and do really good service, and even they make mistakes. And for instance, there's this one community that invited me to speak, right? And I'm watching their programming, and they keep saying, "Pray for Ukraine, pray for Ukraine." And while they mean well, this is what the lopsidedness of spirituality does. It allows you to be manipulated by emotion. The reality is, if you're a good Buddhist, you would not be praying for Ukraine. You'd be praying for them to stop killing each other. You'd want an equal result for both Russia and Ukraine and the world. You don't take sides. You cannot represent the Buddha and Kuan Yin and Jesus if you're taking sides in a war. Now, at the same time, to prepare for the war, to prepare to fight. And so this is where this is very difficult, because two truths can be parallel and conflicting and still be true. It's very difficult for mind to understand. But how can you be in alignment with the oversoul and take a side in this war? And then when we look at the reality of this war, obviously we pray for the people of Ukraine, but if you look at the politics, Ukraine's wrong. The UN's wrong. They broke a contract and a treaty with Russia. They signed the contract. They're wrong. Now the people are suffering. How you doing? What's up, Chandler? How you doing, buddy? So, at the end of the day, if you're talking about the spiritual path, we shouldn't be taking sides. You know, all the people are going to suffer. Everyone's suffering. And it has nothing to do with the people on the ground level. It's these moronic, devil-worshipping, reptilian, cocksucking leaders who are using people as pawns. We're all slaves. So how are you siding with Ukraine, you morons? Why are we praying for them and not praying for the war to end? Why are we not praying for these evil leaders to go fucking die on a fucking cliff somewhere? Go like the lemmings and the pigs. Go jump off a fucking cliff. We don't need you. None of these world leaders are fucking qualified to lead. None of them. Not a single fucking one. And you know what? Maybe Putin. Maybe. Because you know what? I don't agree with the war or anything, but you look at the tactics he's used, and he's tried and tried and tried. He said, please, I don't want to do this. 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 Now you're making me do this. Now you're making me do this. Now you're making me do this. Now you're making me. He's fucking asking you to leave him alone. But you broke a contract. You put fucking bioweapons labs. You have fucking literal Nazis. Literal Nazis, okay? And in Ukraine, you have like terrible things going on there. But the spiritual community go, oh, pray for Ukraine. Why? Because you're brainwashed and you're manipulated by emotions because you're double light. Because your spiritual side, the oversoul, wants everything to be happy, pure, fifth dimension and up consciousness. And we're not there. We're in the 3D level. Okay? We're in the first layer of hell. This is the free will zone where anything can happen. This is the hell realm. And it may not have been intentionally made to be that well, that's what it is. So how are you not seeing this? That that's like, I can't with these people. That you know, it's difficult. It's difficult because like when you have real enlightenment, you know, if you want to call it that, awareness, and you see things for how they really are, you become an alien, a mutant, you know. So it's difficult, and this is why I try to integrate into society and taiji community. They don't understand me. You guys don't understand me. It's hard. It's very hard. So that's where I'm at with that. So I think I've said enough. Any questions, comments, accusations before I leave? Anybody? Nobody? I'll sit here banging my shins until you guys say This is a lazy man's shin conditioning, by the way. Because I'm getting ready because I know some idiot's going to want to eventually step up. I'm too old for this shit. So I have to get ready. I am kind of cute, thank you. You got any pics you want to send me? Join the Discord, send me some nudes. I appreciate the compliment, by the way, but that wasn't a question. I asked for questions. What the fuck, bruh? No questions, nothing? Hey, what's up, Jay? How you been, bro? Yeah. It's not iron anymore, that's why I'm doing this. When I was younger, I used to break parking meters. And I'm way out of shape. My conditioning is shit. I have to get it back because I don't want to get hurt. How old am I? I'm old enough. How old are you, Lorena? Yeah, I don't know, because I haven't done the conditioning in years, or it's just when you get old, you get lazy, and everything sucks more. I hate this. This like really sucks. Oh, do you identify as female, and are you a biological female? I have to ask these questions. Because honestly, my junk is way too big, and if you have one of those like plastic makeup pussies, I'll kill you. So only natural born females for me. But if you're a tranny and you have a dick as big as mine, I'll hook up with you, no problem. Yeah, I feel like my bones are still hard as fuck, but I just don't. I mean, I'm sure compared to like regular people, because like, you know, when I touch like Don or like, you know, a couple like my mechanics, my friends, and like his buddy who's like a college wrestler, like I was messing around with him a couple weeks ago, and I still feel like my density is still there, but like I was in my 20s, I can literally kick a metal pole, you know, and I don't feel like I can do that anymore. And it's not sure because I'm lazy. I haven't done the conditioning so long. Yeah, you're right. You know, that's what I'm afraid of. But yo, my young new teacher, Zifu Lee, like he was teaching me Muay Thai in China. Dude, his bones, it was insane. Like his bones are like steel, but they cut you. Like just him touching, it was like the craziest feeling I've ever felt in my life. Because it was like an iron fucking bar, but it was sharp in a way I can't describe. No. Nope. And I'm not telling. Are you hot, Lorena? Lorena, whatever your name is, Lorena? Are you hot? That's the perfect age. That's all I'm looking for. 23 to 27. I make exceptions for chicks if they're older, you know, but they have to have extremely good qualities. When you're young like that, I can still fix you. I can save you from the Satan's asshole. But, you know, if you're not hot and you have 400 bodies, I don't want to touch you. So, you're 23, right? Legal, totally legal. You want to come over? Join the Discord, send some nudes, okay? She thinks I'm playing. The Discord's in the community tab at Will of the Bills. I'll put it in the description later. You're a hot Latina? No me joda. I'm mentirosa. Why do you keep deleting your messages? Lorena? What kind of fucking... That's a white girl's name, Blanquita. Come on. You know Spanish, get out of here, Lorena. What kind of fucking Hispanic girl's name, Lorena? ¿Tú quieres leche? Huh? Oh God, this is my life now. Oh fuck. Yes, this like hurts more than it should. You know, I used to be able to fucking smack this into my shins. Now it's like, this hurts. It hurts a lot. I don't like it. I got you silenced. Okay. Wait until I put it in your mouth, then you'll really be silenced. No, actually I never used gel. I only used it once. I never used gel. ever. The Korean and the Japanese styles, they don't use any liniments like that. Yeah, I never used the gel. I got a couple of times because my friend was in the black fucking dragon kung fu academy, whatever the fuck it was, and he had the jowl, and then a couple of Wing Chun buddies had the jowl. So I mean, I used it a couple of times. Like I played with them, but I never used it in my personal training. Oh no, I know that, but it's just you have to pay for it. You have to find a good recipe, and you have to be able to get it consistently. And then when like my friend's school, I didn't want to bother them because it's like I'm not part of their school, and they give it to me a couple times. I felt like okay, thank you, but I don't want to keep breaking their balls for for their family recipes and shit. Yeah, that's why my knuckles are fucked. This is 10 years of no conditioning. You can see my knuckles are still mutated. You know what I mean? Like, where's the camera here? You can see all the scars and shit. And that's from scrape. Hold on, can you see that? See my, like, completely busted. See it jump over the, you can actually hear it. You hear that? So, yeah. So you can see, like, I've destroyed my fucking hands. Because, I didn't have the... Yeah, but bro, I mean, that was now. I destroyed my body before the internet existed. You know what I mean? I was lucky in the 90s that I had any friends that had an jowl available. So I got it a couple of times. I did use it when I got they tried to give me a little bottle here, and I would use it. But I'm not gonna keeping up with that. And I mean, dude, I was training every day. Like, I was hitting the makarari like every other day, doing push-ups on concrete and wood every single day. Breaking boards. Like, there's no fucking jowl, But that's the advantage of the Chinese disciplines is that the Korean and Japanese were not made for longevity. They're made so that you go into a war zone. If you make it out, is a blessing. And if you make it to live to 50, congratulations. I don't care if you're able to walk. You can't be able to close your hands. Clean your ears, man. You can train stretch reflex at the gym. Oh, yeah, that's a way to do it, yeah. That's a totally legit way to do it. And the thing is, you have to get a weight that's lighter, it's heavy enough to cause a strain, but light enough that you don't have to use your type 1 muscles. So that's the trick. So yes, it's like using lightweight resistance is perfect, 100%. Warren now. Damien, my Damien, I meet you a minute long, and I knew that you're the one, my grandpa. It's all about love? Okay. Well, if you want me to put you on my knee and give you a spanking like a dirty little girl, come into the Discord. It's in the community tab in the About section, and in most of the videos. And I'll put it, when I finish the stream, I fix the description, so it'll be in this description also. In the Chinese Mexico karate at Okinawa, it was the hardest and fastest. Oh, of course, because that was the only purpose of karate. And the karate and the Japanese and Korean styles were made for imminent war. Like when you look at the pre-Beijing style form, like the forms that I learned, it was literally, the style that I learned was the Special Forces style in Korea, when they were teaching it to go into combat barehanded in Vietnam, and they used it. It's a different mentality. It's like you didn't care if you had injuries in your older age, because you were sacrificing your old age to protect your family and your land now. Yes, and the beginners need to hurt people as fast as possible, which is why the dangerous techniques are taught first. It's a totally different system. But there's also the thing that they had there where the Chinese didn't really have, that Chinese were taught in small communities and family life because the government was so, isn't there which governments for history were abusing the people who can revolt against them. So they had to keep the arts a secret generally. And the communities were close-knit and everything was secret, whereas the Japanese and the Koreans, the Mongolians, they were more militant and collective peoples, And the governments would use them collectively, whereas the Chinese government was always against the people. You train graduating. Exactly. Exactly. There's no luxuries. There's no pleasantries. No pleasantries at all. 1 second. Can I leave this window open? What the hell did I do? 100 degrees outside. I'm leaving the damn window open. Because I'm a genius, and that's what I do. Good job. So, yeah, that's basically how that works. Good night. Your Bad donated $50. Oh yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Your Dad. Lorena, no, my girlfriend. Where do you live, Lorena? You can't just come in here and hit on Grandpa, and then not tell me. No. You gotta join the Discord. Send me some nudes. Okay, tell me where you live. Otherwise, it's no good. It's no good. Come on, Lorena. You can't just come in and hit on Grandpa. Okay, and not come through, all right? Probably has an OnlyFans or some shit. All these girls are the same now. Oh my God. Germany. Ich bin ein Berliner. Master Roshi. I'm more like Jiraiya Sensei than Master Roshi. I'm too young to be Master Roshi. And I'm too tall. Germany. Du hast. I think you said you were Spanish. Well, I can't think about you because I don't know what the fuck you look like. Send me some nudes, and then we can talk. All right? Send nudes. Otherwise, wasting everybody's time. We don't want to see your booty. Okay? Don't come in here hitting on Grandpa. You know? You know you want to sit in my lap. Let me tell you, you're a good girl. We all know that's what you want, okay? Don't make believe. She wants the secret sword hand. What's the secret sword hand? Hey, so Seafood Don, what's it looking like over there? When are you getting over? Because I promised the kiddies on the internet that I'd make you a crash dummy again. So, I'm too old. What do you mean I'm too old? The last girl I was dating was a 21-year-old girl from Hooters. It was last year. What are you talking about? I was literally dating a 21-year-old Hooters chick. Actually, no, she was 20. Excuse me. I took her for her 21st birthday. What are you talking about? You're too old for me. You're too old for me. You can't handle me. I'll rock your world. What's the earliest you can come? In this conversation, that's a really loaded question, bro. Why don't you talk to our friend Lorena? She'll help you with that. Give you a shout out, fam? Boomerang fam. All right, you got a shout out. What? Okay, I'm expecting you. All right? I'm expecting you. Send me them nudes. I think all the adult videos I've been in pulled from the internet, thank God. Riley, how you doing? You can buy the herb pack, brew yourself. $8. Yeah, use rice wine, obviously. You're very welcome, Mr. Boomerang fam. Some Hot 97 shit. Listen, Lorena, while I may be a motherfucker, okay, I'm definitely nobody's grandpa. I have no kids. So you can say you're in love with a motherfucker. That would be more correct. Oh, thank you, Riley. But do me a favor, don't sub if you're actually not into Tai Chi and you're just here to break my balls. I have other channels for that. Vodka is better. Oh, yeah, the rice wine front. Okay, well, I mean, I've used vodka for like so many different like medical reasons before. Because like my bands, you know, I was playing black metal, death metal bands, and the guys were Russian, Latvian, you know, fucking all these people. And that, all they drank was vodka. So whenever there's like an injury or something, you always use the vodka because it's there. So that's basically that. Fucking weirdos. Swear to God. You know, what's funny is what's about to happen in these online communities. There's I don't want to give it away, but there's gonna be a lot of people are gonna get in trouble soon. Okay, and what people don't realize is with the AI that's coming out right now. First of all, encryption is over. Encryption's been over for a long time. So they're going to be able, everything you do, all your fake accounts, all your trolling, all your back-end conversations, there's nothing hidden. All right, and these guys already follow and track people. Once they start to see the legal ramifications that the lower level employees are getting the company into, you're gonna see a lot of change. A lot of people getting their ass handed to them. It's gonna happen really quick. Okay, so all the troll shit, it's not like it used to be. Mark my words. Have you heard anything more from Damo? No, bye my grandpa. Get ready for the pics. They're not normal pics. All right, I better see, you know, what kind of not normal. Now I'm worried. She's going to be sending me some Scheiße videos from fucking Germany. Bye-bye, my Lorena, my sweet little pumpkin girl. Mwah. Okay? So, the Damo Mitchell thing? No, what happened was these guys started beefing on some random shit. They went to my non-related Instagram channel, which is just like music and fuckery. And they posted there, and then after me and these guys squashed all the beef, he came out of left field talking shit, and I basically told him, I called him out. I was like, listen, dude, you're a poser. Bye, my loves. Yes, you got a kiss. Bye. Bye. Kawaii. Yeah. So your 2 ticks at a gun show. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So. Anyway, what happened with him was he came out of fucking left field. And I was just like talking shit. And I basically called him out. I'm like, I know who you are. And if you were this Taoist master guy, you would have minded your fucking business. So. So, that was what happened with the Damo Mitchell guy. And good night, my love. Lorena's probably like a fucking 7 foot tall, like German guy with a 9-inch dick. And it's like, she just sent me pictures. I'm actually worried. But anyway. So that's what happened with that guy. And then he responded, and I didn't even bother reading the response. Because I was like, I lost so much respect for him and the Adam, whatever the hell his name is, and all these people. I instantly lost all respect. When that Damo Mitchell guy came out of his face, it was such a shock to me because one, it completely disillusioned, and it was like, it just showed me who these people really are, and the fact that they all know who I am. They all know who I am, and they're making believe they don't. All right, when I have 600 subscribers and over 100,000 views, okay, bullshit. They're all bullshit artists. All right, Lorena. I hope so. Please speak my name. Это нахуй, блядь, Pikachu. Это нахуй. That's your name, right? Get the нахуй, Pikachu. Bye, Lorena. Please speak my name. Дурак. Сука. Is that your... Я хочу стакан водки. Alpha, everyone's seeing you lick your asshole right now. And they're talking about you. Well, you shouldn't have did that. You know I'm fucking on the stream, right? Come up here. Up. Can you not lick your asshole on the stream, please? Come up. 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 Don't be ashamed that everyone saw you you're licking your asshole. Come up. Oh, you be a fucking baby and make me pick you up, you fat fuck. Oh, God. Yeah, he's a little lion. Right, Apple? You're a lion? And no, I did not ask for a cat. He picked me. He literally picked my house. And my ex-girlfriend begged for a cat. And I told her, because everybody, I talk about this now, but that I do all the remote viewing stuff and the weird the real woo stuff. So this is like, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and I'm in like, so we're in this apartment next to this park, and this is Brooklyn. So on my block, there is about 60 side-by-side houses with there's no space on the left and right side of the house. You have no side windows. It's like a downstairs and upstairs porch, and there's 3 levels to the house, and the whole block is like that. There's rows of houses like that for a mile. So she goes to me, I want a cat. I said, you can't even take care of a fish. You're not getting a cat. She's begging me. I said, fine. We're going to get a cat. The cat's going to come to us to be a white and gold cat. And she's like, fine, because she knows every time I say something like this, it happens. 3 months go by. I forget about it. My next door neighbor, like, yo, dude, you got a cat? I'm like, no, what the hell are you talking about? This cat's been in front of your door every night, meowing and meowing and meowing, trying to get into your house. I'm like, what? Fine. So another couple of weeks goes by. I forget about 4 o'clock in the morning, I get up to throw the garbage out. And I go to the door, I'm like, watch this freaking cat be outside. I open the door, and he's at the stairs looking at me. And he goes, meow? Like, dude, I've been waiting for you to open the damn door. So I go, do you want to come inside? And I step aside. And the cat walks right in, goes to my girl on the bed, and flips upside down his back, and never left the house again. That's how I got the cat. Okay? So he's my familiar. He's not really a normal cat. And have you ever seen a cat that comes to his name? Did you notice that? Have you ever seen that before? You call a cat by its name and it looks at you? Freaking the cat people. But yeah, that's basically where we're at. So I think I've touched on all of the important topics today. Jason came in late, so he didn't get to see the cool stuff. But the beginning of the stream was actually pretty cool. You're going to enjoy it when you get a chance to watch it. Seafood Don missed a good part of the stream, and he said he's going to come by as soon as he can come. Excuse me. So you have to let me know when you come. But yeah, anybody who's coming in now, the first part of the stream is more productive and more informative. This is the sit down and be an idiot section where I just rant and laugh at people. So any questions, anything you guys want to go over while I'm still here? I like how the guy said he donated $50, but I didn't see where he donated it to. Like, we don't have a bot here. So I like to believe that. I appreciate the donations, but I don't believe you. But I'm going to check later. I'm going to check. I appreciate it. So nobody has anything to say, huh? I'm either the best teacher or the scariest guy in the world that no one wants to talk. I'm scared. When I talk to him, he's crazy. He scares me with his long hair, his hippie long hair. He's scary. He likes to hit himself with sticks. God, this sucks. It's not supposed to suck like this. It didn't suck like this when I was younger. it's funny because I still have the calcium deposits. So when I run across, you just hear like dunk, 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 dunk. It's like these pebbles all up and down my shins. There's like rocks. Oh god. What do you want? What do you want? What time is it? It's not dinner. You have to take your bowl, bro. Would I not give you enough water? Why are you crying? What is it? Let me see. So nothing? You guys have nothing to say? Alright, then I'm going to sign off in a second because I've gone through all the content. I've flirted with the random German person girl thing. I think I've I've given you the philosophies and all the cool stuff. So if you guys don't have any specific questions, you guys don't want to chat, what am I going to do? Just like, So I'm going to sign off in a second. Nobody has anything to say? Nobody? Nobody's hitting the like button either? Come on. God. I'm going to do it, you people. Show me some love. At least somebody said that they're sending nudes and the person giving me a donation, so. Alright, so I guess that's it. Since no one's talkative, I'm going to head off. For you guys coming in late, watch the beginning of the stream. We're actually, going on the important topics. The second half is just entertainment. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. In your human time, I say I love you, but I'm grateful for your presence, practice your gratitude. And we'll see you guys next time. And I see you guys again, and peace out.